Way to go, USA. Way to f***ing go. So, uh, I'm looking at silver linings here and I'm thinking, well, the DNC is potentially over. I mean, this is, looks like we're going to have all three seats of the federal government and really the Supreme Court completely possessed by the Republicans. And what I think, especially in the face of Trump, that is just such a damning rejection of the Democratic Party that we need to acknowledge the opportunity that is before us to build a viable alternative party that ideally isn't funded and entirely beholden to the donor class and corporate interests. I mean, this is possible. Essentially, it seems to me that any decent candidate with the apparatus of a major party would be able to win, without $1 billion, but just a somewhat reasonable financing or comparable. People know they're getting screwed. The problem with Donald Trump, though, is that he has really co-opted a lot of people into believing, this fantasy version of reality that he tells them. I just don't know how you believe such blatant lies over and over again. So it's challenging to imagine. Well, it's challenging to imagine sort of reality reaching a lot of these people, because it is a social delusion, and Trump represents adherence and embracing of the delusion. The idea that through assertion and wealth, influence, popularity, position, you can change reality, change the past to suit your needs, if you have enough power, and that's what Trump represents, is that ability to change reality itself. And it's this is a big problem because I've been talking about simulacra, right? So the idea is that, if you make an exact one-to-one simulation of our reality, where do you put it? You have to superimpose it on our reality. But then let's say you decide that you want to make changes to the, representation of reality, the map of reality that's a one-to-one representation. You decide that you want to alter some portion because the reality is, isn't as good as it can be now that you have this simulation. And so the example that's given in simulacra and simulation, I think, is flowers, perpetually blooming, blah, 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 blah. So, that's essentially what's going on now. The internet is the simulacra. It's creating a world that is artificially flowerier than the real world, but is becoming the de facto reference point in the real world. So, the way that someone would learn about a distant place is through the internet now. And because the internet can develop profoundly convincing lies, you're literally changing the reality for all those that perceive your, augmented or altered truth that you're presenting. And there are all types of reasons why that's problematic, but the real reason why Trump being in this position right now is problematic is because we're at the point now where the simulacra will really, really start to emerge. Like the artificial intelligence that, I contributed to the language model a lot, and I didn't get paid enough. And gosh, when I see how much it's borrowed from me, because as identified in multiple different AI word generation things, is highly valuable to the algorithm. But pretty soon, the machine learning, or the AI, whatever the hell, will be able to manifest, deep fakes. So convincing, so quickly, that, you'll be able to, if you have the agency, the power, the apparatus, etc., completely author a new reality, and document that new reality such that it's indiscernible from reality. So, like, let's say there's a report of some incident at some intersection, and it's libelous for Donald Trump or whoever's in power. And as a means of suppressing the reality of the situation, preventing it from escalating, they could provide an artificial, surveillance camera rendering of that same intersection, but altered such that it's completely and utterly, outstanding. And there are different means by which people have historically sort of verified that some piece of media isn't being manipulated. Like take a picture of yourself with today's newspaper type thing. So that that it was within a certain time frame, blah blah blah. But with or like the time codes on these surveillance video streams, and also just right now for video and photography, it's just like the smell test, the eye test, especially for a trained eye. I can pick out simulacra AI. I can pick up almost every type of manipulation to a photograph, but I have to have one, a high enough resolution version to be able to pick those things out. I have to be paying attention and engage such to look for them. You know what I'm saying? Like even the most trained eye will be tricked frequently, for the simple fact that, like, the only reason because I've done so much video, and I've seen all different, I've done a lot of compositing and visual effects and some 3D stuff, and I'm not saying I'm pretty good at certain types of video effects, but a lot of these different things that I've dabbled in, I never really got great at, but mostly I'm actually okay at compositing, but definitely not at 3D modeling. But in the course of doing all this stuff, you see the different ways, the different artifacts that these different sort of ways to manipulate video or create video, things that they like leave behind, or the telltale signs. From color correction all the way up to composited 3D models into 2D video. However, it's the quality and the speed by which they can be produced, and then if you can utilize the apparatus of the press and the presidency, because we have a corrupted sort of propagation apparatus that Trump is able to wield. So that could be so powerful to him.